All right. It's official. We're live. It is Tuesday night, and I'm going to read to you guys. So once we get some people joining, that's what's going to happen. Everything looks a little good. I'm liking it. Okay. All right. Hey, Corey, there he is. Yeah, buddy, I got you. Let me get you. Hi, Tanya. Nice to see you in there. I'm going to pull Corey, our author, on as soon as it shows up on my thing. Corey, just to make sure, are you using your mobile phone or are you on a computer? Because I can only make you join if you're on your mobile phone from what I believe is your personal account. That's the rules. Them's the rules. I don't make them, I just enforce them. Hey, Marina, how are you? Thanks for joining. It is so lukewarm in here, Marina. I am so happy with the continuation of the lukewarm jokes. I can't tell you. Thank you, Tanya. You're the best, too. That's awesome. I'm going to try to see there. No, we got Marina. We got Tanya. So, yeah, if you can hear me. Brian. Hey, Brian. What's up, buddy? Thanks for joining. And we're going to get going here once I can get our author in with me. So, but first I want to try something. So I might. Yeah, what's up? How's everybody's Tuesday? Man, oh man, today was a good day. It was busy making things go, making things work. Um, and I got a little bit. I did some auditions. I see my mom's on here. Is that Pat Daniels, my mother? Hi, Mom. How you doing, Mama? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. We're gonna do a little reading. From NPC for Hire. And I'm excited about this. This is a new to me author, new series that we started this year. The author is Corey Culligan. Oh, I see Corey's watching again. Let's see if I can pull him on. Yes, just as I say that. Sending a request your way, Corey. And we're going to pull him on. He is new to me author, but really, really interesting stuff. NPC for Hire came out, I think, a couple weeks ago. And hey, Janice, you found us? Yeah, it took you a bit, but you stuck it out. I like that. I really appreciate that. Let's see if I got you on. Approve. Yes, send request. Unable to add guest. No, while a user's connecting. So I think we got doubled up here for a second, Corey. We're just too quick for Facebook. Yeah, we're gonna approve that. Ask Corey to join you. Your audience is set to public, so anyone can watch this. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, we're going to try again, Corey. Let's try maybe log off, log back in again. It's not doing it. And then wait for me to ask to add. Let's close that out and then do that. Try coming back in. See if I can get Corey. He's saying hello anyways. Hello, Corey. Nice to see you trying. It's so hard. Hey, Olin, how are you? Nice. Posting a link helps, guys. Yeah, so okay. You're right. Like, where is the link for this? I know it comes from my Facebook page, but whenever I go to do these events, there's not like a thing that's like, here's the link you need to send. So because I'm a big dumb doodlehead, all right, let's see if we can get this again. Add. All right, it's going to send you the request. Wait for the request to be sent, Corey. Wait for it. Oh, I appreciate that, Tanya. I really enjoy getting to do all the stories, and the fact that I get to do that for a living, it makes me very happy, and I'm very lucky. And you should be coming in. Oh, yeah, here we go. And without further ado, thank you for your patience, everyone. I would like to introduce our featured guest of the night, Corey Culligan. Look at that. We did it, bud.
We
Good
did it.
job. How you doing, my man? You look like you're at
Good.
your
How's everybody?
in your classroom, huh?
I
Teaching the
am.
youth of America, right?
Yeah, they don't let us out of here. We live here now.
That's not good.
Um,
So, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And you stuck it out. I think we got our wires crossed when you sent the request and I sent the request and
yeah.
Facebook exploded. But we're here now, and I'm super excited to have you. And for those of you who don't know, Corey Culligan is the author of a new series that I've picked up called NPC for Hire. And the actual series name is?
The Ascension Protocol. So the
That's
NPC
right.
for Hire is book one.
So give me a breakdown, like the elevator pitch, just so we can get our viewers kind of a taste of what they would get with NPC for Hire, other than spectacular narration.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's the best part, really. But my elevator pitch has been mostly Free Guy meets the Matrix, right? Had that fun, kind of whimsical Free Guy video game world, but a little darker with a lot of heart and then a lot of found family in it as well.
Right. And we have, so what I do think is great is a lot of these books, we have our players, and then we have NPC non-player character, for those that don't know, who was like me before I started this whole journey through lit RPG. I've told this story before, but when I started doing these books like 10 years ago or however long it was, had to get like a PlayStation and learn about gaming. It was so hard on me. I had to do that. It was really hard on me, and I did it and I stuck it out, and that's why I'm great. But
Yep.
so this is taking it from the NPC's perspective, right? So we're not really having our player. Now we're going on the flip side. What about that appealed to you, and why did you decide to do the book from that angle?
Yeah, it's always been interesting, and there's been some media recently. There's a really cool um, web series called NPC Epic NPC Man, and it kind of just got me thinking, like, if you logged out, what are they doing? And if it was, then I took it from there. Well, we're getting so close with technology. You could have it run forever, and they can be, simulated. Are they just sitting there twiddling their thumbs? Are they? Do they have their little lives of their own? So really took it from inspiration from there. And there was an old TV show called Reboot. I don't know if anyone is familiar with it, but in Reboot, it was about the video game characters after they were done playing with the people. So it's just been something I've thought about for years and years, and started writing, and the characters felt right, and it just kind of went from there. And then, not to spoil anything, but as you read through the book, you'll find out it's a lot more than just NPCs.
Right, and there is a lot more depth, I would say, to this
Sorry,
book
spoilers. I know.
than I was it was a lot more depth than I was necessarily like expecting, in a good way. That yes, character stuff was kind of paramount. It felt like you had your main character, but also his party members, so-called party members, are equally as have a lot of weight too to them as well. So
Yeah.
did you find that, like, developing these characters, did they kind of take the reins sometimes? Did you have a lot of prescription stuff? How is your process for character development?
Yeah, so a lot of people might not know this is my first book, and I kind of just started writing for fun. So a lot of the characters kind of evolved as I was writing. I never really like sat down and said, "Oh, this is going to be the book. This is the one." So I kind of let them just come alive as I was writing them, and I from the beginning I didn't want them to just be surface level like NPC characters. So a lot of it was finding out who they were, and one of the things that got me in the right headspace about halfway through writing book one, I actually made Spotify playlists for each character. Like,
Oh,
what would they
cool.
be listening to on their downtime? And as you know from narrating it, there's a lot of music references. I'm a musician as well, so music's very important to me. So I thought, okay, well, if I'm going to get in their headspace, what's Ben rocking when he's sitting on the ship alone, or what's Ari rocking in her little safe space, and that really helped me kind of figure out who they were.
I like that because as an actor, we use music a lot too to kind of get into character because it's
Hmm.
evocative and you get a feeling from a piece of music. And so much of pop culture nowadays that's tied into it real heavily. I think immediately of like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and
Yeah,
stuff like that,
yeah.
where they use the music to such great effect. And I think books sometimes kind of
Mhm.
lack that a little bit. So I do appreciate broadening a little bit the scope for that.
Yeah.
So. I had my script pulled up, but then it just kind of blipped out. So
No fun.
if I'm that, but I got to pull it up. There
Yeah,
it
while you're
is.
doing that, I
Luke
saw a
Skywalker.
question in the chat from
Yeah.
Olin, and I know I saw him. He had a couple questions for me. Petrie, and I know I wanted to address this. I know it's a wyvern. Well, it's technically a winged drake. The drakes don't have wings. Dragons have wings. Wyverns, the wings are attached. I think I'm getting that right.
Uh,
But the name Petrie came from the pterodactyl in Land Before Time, one of my
of
favorite
course.
movies as a kid. Yep. So, and for fans of Petrie, he is a major side character in book two. So if you like Petrie, the good boy Petrie, then he's coming back.
That's what I love about these kinds of books, the fantasy element and having the
Hmm.
familiars and the bringing animals to life with human characters. I think is such a fun as an audiobook. It really makes it engaging, and I think as a storyteller, it's got to be fun. Do you find that having that ability makes your imagination more take off, or do you feel like you have more constraints?
To my publishers, they're trying to find a home for it, but it was really fun writing it because I'm a gamer, so I'm like I play sci-fi, I play fantasy, so I kind of just let it go and kind of didn't hold myself to a genre, and so while writing, I felt like I had extreme freedom to kind of explore whatever I wanted.
And it seems like you kind of are a jack of all trades from what I've seen. Just I don't know a lot, but maybe give us a little of your background. But you've got a couple things under your belt other than author. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, so early career, I was a molecular biologist. I was a botanist. I was kind of like Mark Wozniak from The Martian. I never got to go to Mars, but I was a molecular botanist, and I studied a lot about making plants grow more food, so we can all have food to eat. That's probably pretty good.
Right.
And then I had a long career after that in sales, selling microscopes and other scientific supplies, and then went to grad school after biotech and sales and fell in love with teaching. So now, as you can see, I'm a high school teacher here in Colorado, and now an author. I guess I never planned that
Yeah.
part.
Oh hell yeah! It's
Yeah,
published. Yes, sir.
yeah, it's real.
And a good one too, if my opinion means anything,
No,
which we're
thank
going to
you.
hear in just a minute. So
Yeah.
I think we can get into it. I've got a botanist. I know he listed Janice is saying, "Oh my God, botanist." Yeah. So did you grow anything from your own poop? Did you figure that out?
No,
That
no,
no?
did not do
Okay.
that. And also, everyone always asks me, like, "Hey, can you come over and help me with my garden?" The thing you don't know about scientific botanists, our whole job is to grow plants so we can murder them horribly and
Uh-huh.
then see what killed them so we can then make the next one stronger, right? So I don't know if you actually want a botanist or at least a molecular botanist coming into your garden. You want a horticulturalist. They're the ones who really like, yes, I find out what make plants
Look
tick.
at that.
They
You're
find out.
teaching already. You are
Yeah.
the teacher and you comes out. I love that. And I've never thought of a botanist as a plant serial killer, but from now
Hmm.
on, anytime I see that, I'm going
Yeah.
to think, plant serial killer.
Yep. Yep. Because we gotta
Sadistic.
make sure the pretty ones stay alive, and the healthy ones.
Yeah, yeah, and all that grafting and kind of
Yeah.
changing
Hmm.
and breeding. So, all right, I think we can get into this now. People have waited enough.
Let's do it.
I was thinking, Corey, we would just do from chapter one right off the bat, so we don't have
Sure.
any spoilers. That sound good to you?
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, here we go. Let's dive right in, and we'll come back and do a couple questions if you keep track of them or anything like that. See anything, keep it in the mind, and we'll try to answer those at the end. Okay?
Okay.
So,
Awesome. I'm gonna go on mute so I don't distract you.
oh yeah. Oh man, I'm locked in. You could sit there with a tambourine. Okay. Excuse me. I've been talking all day, so it's a little rough this morning or today. All right. Chapter 1, FN-R1S. In the dim corner of a virtual cantina, where the air smelled suspiciously of pixelated nachos, a lone figure leaned back against a flickering table. He wore the kind of confidence that might fool a fresh batch of players into thinking he was more than just a glorified quest marker. The synthnet pulled in all kinds. Thrill seekers, credit grinders, softcore explorers looking to unwind in a simulated galaxy. Some logged in for hours, others for lifetimes. Most players were simply passing through. To them, he was another non-player character with a snappy line about womp rats and why a maxed-out dex build wouldn't save you from a lucky one-shot. One of those hits that sent you back to the loading screen. Or worse. Death had many variations in the synthnet. For softcore players, it meant lights out, a respawn timer, and maybe a few lost credits. For hardcore players, the true fanatics who fully uploaded themselves into the system, death was permanent. NPCs were somewhere in between. Some respawned quickly. Others, advanced NPCs like him, might wait cycles or get reassigned to new roles. Either way, confidence wasn't protection. This world didn't forgive mistakes. He'd been created with the designation FN-R1S, a tag that had followed him through war zones, dreamscapes, pirate dens, and even corporate utopias. Each simulated world had been more elaborate than the last. Then, after his last respawn, the AIs had dumped him into this rusted-out tutorial world without so much as a system message. Some called him Fenris. Most called him Fen. New players whispered he'd once been great. An S-tier NPC who ran missions for legends and trained heroes at the height of their climb. Now he handed out starter quests and taught swordplay to fresh uploads in a forgotten tutorial world. He couldn't imagine why anyone believed it. No NPC was worth making the trip to a server this low-res and forgotten. One of his few companions was Ari, the irreverent AI assigned to monitor him by the Overseer AIs. She had a knack for turning grim situations into stand-up routines. Subtlety was never her strength, and somewhere between the sarcasm and the meddling, the watchdog had become an accomplice. She was clever enough to fool the Overseers, and maybe herself, that she was still in charge. "You know, Fen," Ari said from across the table, her glowing form flickering into a cheerful cartoon bartender as she flipped a towel over one tiny shoulder. "What's your go-to booze for your throat?" "I don't drink. I used to, but I don't drink anymore. So, um, generally booze isn't great for it, but some tea would be good. Some tea would definitely be good. I have licorice root too. You'll see me chewing on like an actual licorice root, and I look like a beaver, but it helps. I should grab it right now. Throat is tired. Anyways, all right. Yeah. Yeah, where were we? Oh, yeah. She's a cartoon bartender, flipped the tower over one shoulder. "If you keep staring into that drink like it holds the secrets of the universe, you're going to find more problems instead." Fen took a slow sip. It tasted of regret and recycled pixels. "One of these days," he said without looking up, "your smart-ass routine's going to get us deleted." "Deleted?" Ari morphed into a cat riding a pastry, a nod to some ancient meme. "Please, we've been neck-deep in trouble for cycles. At least I make it fun. What would you do without me? Brood in lower resolution?" Fen shot her a look but didn't bother arguing. This planet felt like punishment, a dull, pixelated purgatory where even the greenest players couldn't mess up badly enough to break the simulation. Fen sighed, staring at the low-poly landscape out the window. The blocky sun dipped behind jagged mountains, shadows stretching over dust-colored terrain. "Sometimes I think the real punishment is waiting for something to change in a world the system forgot. It's still running, but only because no one remembered to shut it down," he mumbled half to himself. Ari's shimmering form shifted into a Freudian therapist, tiny notepad and all. "Forgotten doesn't mean dead, Fen," she said, her voice quieter now. "Something's always happening, but it's not always new. Sometimes the trick is surviving long enough to find peace in the patterns, even when they don't lead anywhere." Surviving wasn't the problem. It was the repetition, the slow grind of familiarity that blurred months into cycles and stripped every moment of consequence. The faint hum of the cantina buzzed around him as he watched another wave of players materialize in the distance. He let out a slow breath, Ari's words echoing in his mind. She's probably right, he thought to himself, looking at the drink in his hand. About all of it. But that doesn't make it easier. He swirled the last of the drink in his glass, a thought gnawing at him until he gave it voice. It's not the quests, Fen said. It's the way they show up, all wide-eyed and eager like I'm some kind of tutorial wizard. Same grin, same hopeful tone. If I have to send one more newbie off to gather mystical berries, I might hand out fireball scrolls instead, just to shake things up. Ari looked over her therapist's glasses with a smirk. As much as I would love that, the overseers might notice the ruckus. Plus, try explaining that to Mrs. Organa. Fen grimaced, then chuckled despite himself. The image of the cantina's sweet but formidable owner stomping over scorched floorboards played out in his mind. I don't know which I'd be more afraid of, he said, wincing at the thought. Ari flickered beside him, now resembling an old-timey bard with a lute. Considering your ongoing existential crisis, you'd think you'd appreciate the little things. Like not being stuck in a dead server, players still showing up is practically a blessing. Fen's jaw tightened. It doesn't make sense, he said, frustration creeping into his voice. I've been all over the Synthnet, lived hundreds of lives, worked as a mercenary in a cyberpunk wasteland, stole pirate treasure, ran a bakery and a cooking sim, held down an inn in a high fantasy world. Peaceful, I guess, until a bunch of LARPing elves decided to storm my castle. Ari strummed her lute, all amusement. Were they armed with the deadliest of foam swords? Fen snorted. Worse, tree branches and bad chanting. I nearly died of secondhand embarrassment before they finally overwhelmed me. I respawned while still holding a pint of ale. A true epic. The tragic fall of an innkeeper, Ari said, plucking at her lute. He went quiet, then added, at least those places moved. Even the ridiculous ones. New players came and went, quests evolved. There was momentum. Here, he glanced toward the spawn point, blinking in the distance. It's static, a sandbox with no one building anything. Must be tough, Ari said, her voice laced with theatrical sympathy. An immortal NPC, too strong to die, doomed to demo combat basics to every overeager new player with a sword and a dream. How tragic. She flickered again, morphing into an elf with a stick. Maybe your problem is that you're too good at not dying. You need to get better at losing. Fen didn't smile. He stared out the cantina's front window, where the pale horizon stretched. I've thought about it, he said. Letting someone take me out, just to see what happens. Maybe I get spun up somewhere else. Even a glitchy live service sim would be better than this. Ari transformed into a nurse and pressed a comically oversized stethoscope to his chest. It's as I feared. A classic case of survival instinct. Fen let out a dry chuckle. Maybe. Or maybe I've just done this so long I don't know how to stop trying. Ari shimmered back into her usual geodesic form. It's not your code, Fen. It's your pride. You hate losing, even when no one's keeping score. He glanced at her, then away again. You sound awfully sure. I've been watching you for a long time, she said, softer now. This isn't code. It's you, and it always has been. He stepped away from the table toward the door, boots scuffing against the flickering floorboards. Another player had spawned outside, already jogging toward the quest board. At least in the other sims, something changed, Fen said, shaking his head. This place just repeats. Ari hovered alongside him, her light brightening. Careful what you wish for. You might end up on an anime-themed dating sim server. That's not how you say that. You might end up on an anime-themed dating sim server. No, damn, dating sim server. So yeah, that one got me. That one got me. A thumbs up to you guys. Careful what you wish for. You might end up on an anime-themed dating sim server. You'd make a terrible tsundere. You'd make a terrible tsundere. I don't know what a tsundere is. I don't even think I looked that up. I think I did, but now I forgot. Fen groaned. Please don't say words like that out loud. Face it, Fen. You might be stuck here forever. Who knows? Maybe you'll even start to like it. He raised an eyebrow. If I ever start enjoying this place, promise me you'll pull the plug. Ari grinned. Only if I get to write the epitaph. Here lies Fenris, the only man taken out by stick-wielding elves while holding a pint. Fen gave a smile. Could be worse. All right. So that is not even the full first chapter, but that is just a little tidbit to get your taste buds wet. This is from NPC for Hire by Corey Culligan. And oh, there's Steve Karam. He's another great author you guys should check out. Awesome. I always love it when other authors come by. Hi, Carla. Nice to see you as well. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. This has been fun. Let me see. I'm going to add Corey again, send you the request, homie, and then it'll add you, hopefully. But yeah, it's so much fun. So much fun. And it kind of takes off from there. Hey, bud.
Hey,
Welcome back.
if you saw in the post, man, I said I'm so lucky to have you. It's so good.
Oh, thanks, man. It's fun to do. I love doing these lives because it's a whole different vibe than when you're in the booth by yourself. It's even though I'm still in the booth by myself, for some reason I know that there's people watching, so it's fun to get to do that. So thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I had a question for you. Where did Fen and Ari come from for you? Like, where did you find those voices?
Ari's is definitely like I'll just use my upper register to give her the light, fun quality, and also the direct contrast with his low kind of gravelly tone. So the first thing you say is, okay, two characters talk a lot. We got to separate them high and low. Easy. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one's a tough guy, one's a AI, so we'll go there. And I think we talked a little about their characters and kind of not to go too far into the AI, glitching kind of stuff, but still giving some of that. So we talked, that helped to talk it out. And a lot of it just comes out in the writing and pitching it. But I do think I kind of based what the feel I got was kind of, at least for this story, balancing her brightness and positivity with his kind of malaise and a little bit of that. So making her much more bright and positive and kind of up here helped to gravitate or to ground some of his stuff. Well, so I think that was it.
It's amazing, right? Because hearing them, right, they're in my head forever. But as soon as I heard your Ari, I was like, that's it. He's like in my head. It was so much fun getting to hear someone I had wrote for months and almost being able to step away from it. Because as an author, it's so hard to, and I'm sure it's with audiobooks too, it's so hard to step back and kind of see your own work. That it was a joy. It was a blast.
Oh, good. Well, that's always what you want to hear, and it seems genuine, but you never know when you're starting out. At least it's nice when we do these books. If I'm working with an author as opposed to a publisher, there's a more personal touch, it tends to be. So I've enjoyed getting to work with you in that way. You've been very generous and helpful with the overall tone of things, and chat. Corey would listen along after I was done for the day. I would upload to him the stuff and he would listen and offer some notes, but you were very like kind of just let me do my thing, which is always nice. But you gave me a great breakdown at the beginning, very detailed, of all the characters with pictures and kind of like referencing how you said about the music, very well thought out. So I think that was for me as an audiobook narrator, that kind of stuff, that's the behind the scenes stuff. In fact, that would make a great ancillary publication of some of that stuff. You worked so hard on developing some of that, of kind of giving a peek behind the curtain of so to speak, of those characters. But it was helpful to have that as the basis and then just let the story play out. And it's a great it's the perfect amount size book. I think people are going to really like that. I've seen already good responses, but if you've got the chance to download it, that's what I'm pumping it out into the world. We want to blow this thing up. So download it, but also please put make a review or anything. Leave something that it's weird, but that's like the special sauce that makes the
Yeah.
world go round
Yeah.
in our independent world. So yeah. So tell us, you say it's a series. What are you
Mhm.
thinking about the second book? Give us a little teaser, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna ask or let everyone know. I think right now will be the first world reveal of the title of book two, if everybody's ready.
Ooh, we got a
Yeah,
free. Oh yeah, let's do
yeah,
that. We
oh
got a
yeah,
world. Yes, let's do it.
yeah. World exclusive. Book two will be called Singularity's Edge.
Ooh, I like
And
that.
yeah, and if you read through the first book, you will get how terrifying that is. No
Okay.
spoilers, but it is in there. And writing update, I just crossed the halfway point for book two. We're looking definitely, not definitely, but I will try everything I can
Yeah.
for late this year, depending on
Oh,
timing on
that'd be
schedules.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
because I mean, setting these things up, the more you can, if you can get another one in right off the bat, it should give you a little breathing room to
yeah,
then get the next.
yeah,
But I imagine, how is it going? Have you found
good.
you
It's
found it going well?
yeah, I'm so happy I took the chance on myself to start writing. Yeah, I love it. It's just something I've been doing, and it gives my brain something to work on. And just
Hmm.
as I see it evolve, I feel I don't know. It's awesome. It's a lot of time and it's a lot of work. If anyone out there's thinking about being an author, it's a lot of work, but it's fun, and it you get to you know dream up ideas and then work on them and make them fit. And my advice to any new author: make sure you're ready when you get an editor. They are going to tear it apart. I remember sitting there with the 1,400 comments my editor posted on it and said, "I guess I don't know how to write a book."
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it was all out of a good place from them wanting to help. And but man, it was rough. But I'm
And I don't
loving it.
think people realize too that, like, if we didn't have editors,
Yeah.
books would be trash.
Oh, so
Like
bad.
absolute trash. Nobody
Yeah.
realizes how much an editor actually does. I think I
Yeah.
didn't until I started to work with some, and they're just a way to kind of filter, but also kind of funnel things in the right direction. And
Yeah.
if you don't have, that's another advice to people learning to write and stuff. The process of that is equally important, and also a really great learning process, I feel
Yeah.
like, to learn
And
from what they're clicking on.
yeah. And honest with voice recording, narrating, music, all of it too. It's if you hear someone say something criticizing you and you take it poorly, that you're never going to get better. You got to be able to be like, "Yep, that's good advice." And most people aren't trying to say things to be mean; they're trying to say things to help you. So I really had to internalize that as I was going through this. I'm sure you've had similar things early career. And real quick, I just wanted to take a moment. Uh, Merry Wives of Windsor, everybody. I don't know if you saw this
Yeah,
on
we'll
Luke's
pump it up
page,
too.
but
Yeah, if you need
um,
some something to cleanse the palate afterwards, you
yeah,
can move right over to the hijinks of the Merry Wives of Windsor, which I
I
just
can't
published
wait.
as well. Thank you for
Yeah, I can't
calling it
wait.
out.
But you've been there in the game for a long time. You know the difference between where you start and where you are, and it's a journey.
Always, and it never ends. And
Yeah,
hopefully, if you're lucky, you just keep going. And the only my wife and I were talking about it today, of the difference is the people that keep going versus, I mean, like,
yeah,
like today I did auditions for several audiobooks that I'm sure I won't get. I audition all the time and I don't get stuff. So
interesting.
it's just how it works. And but if you keep going, then the law of averages are you will get
Oh yeah.
something. So you just have to keep going. There was a great question from our friend Olin: how difficult was finding a publisher? And I wanted to highlight that because you
Mhm.
did, at first we were going to do this solely just you and I, and then you were lucky enough. So would you speak a little bit about that process?
Yeah. And I lucked into. I kind of did things backwards. Me and Luke decided to work on the book before I was really seriously looking. Having Luke Daniels on the project is makes it a way easier prospect to get a publisher. Interesting, right? How that works. Um, but a lot of it was there was no's, and like my dad, who's in the chat, a little push from the inside is worth a lot of pull from the outside. Just leveraging your contacts. So I was on Royal Road, writing stuff before, and I had met
Okay.
people, and I saw who were they being published by, and I reached out to them, and
Smart.
and yeah, and so a lot of it again is kind of having a plan before you go in. If you just post on Royal Road, even if you get a lot of people, even if you hit Rising Star, you still have to sell yourself more than the book, right? Like,
Right.
why do they want to work with you? There's,
Hmm.
Rising Star changes every 15 days. That's, hundreds of authors a year. Why you? And a lot of it is believing in what you're doing and having some kind of value proposition going in.
Right. Say this again. Rising star changes every 15 days. Is that
Yeah.
some smart scientist thing that you
No,
know that you, or is that
I
something you
would.
made up? That is smart author
Uh,
thing. It's hard to know which is
no,
which.
I know. But no, so Rising Star, so Royal Road is a platform where people
Ah.
can serialize their novels, and it's their leaderboard, I guess you would call it.
Oh, I
Um,
gotcha.
yeah, and that's what like Dungeon Crawler Carl, He Who
Uh-huh.
Fights with Monsters. These giant names got their start
Uh-huh.
there,
Uh-huh.
but it's not just you hit Rising Star, which I never did, and that's the thing is like I think all my whole time on Royal Road, I had 200 followers, but they were very into that because
Good.
I was working with them and like bouncing ideas off. And the other thing, I was reading their books too, right? Like I wasn't
Right.
just
Right.
um, throwing like, hey, tell me everything. So again, a lot of it, everything I've ever done in science, especially in science and sales and teaching, it's all about the people you surround yourself with. As far as actually getting the publisher, I think most people never get one because they never ask. There are
Mm-hmm.
so many small publishers out there
Mm-hmm.
that will take, don't shoot straight for the top three because if you're new, you're probably never going to get it. But there are so many small publishers. My publisher, Royal Guard Publishing, is amazing, and it's much smaller, and they're willing to take risks on newer authors. Um, so and they're waiting for them. So again, just ask. The same with like Luke. The same reason I got you is so funny. I had heard your name. I had listened to Iron Prince, I think it was, and my friend one night jokingly said, "Hey, you should reach out to Luke to audition for your book."
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know quite the caliber you were, like Hall of Famer level. I didn't know that, so I just reached out to you and said, "Hey, you wanna do my book?" And it worked out beautifully. But again, if you don't ask, the only
Yeah.
answer is no.
Yeah. And also kind of the in kind of inspector. You have to investigate what you're interested in, right? And that naturally, if you're naturally interested in something, you kind of find yourself doing that, looking up things about it and researching. But
Mm-hmm.
some of that's not as intuitive to people who are just starting out. And I think it's a good point you're making of you're researching who else is doing well right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's doing well? Matt Dinneman is doing great, but then what are the people below it? Like, and starting to learn the industry, but also the culture, and then reading again, listening to books, reading other ones is
Yeah.
another great way. I mean, it's not it nothing happens in a vacuum, and like you said, surround yourself with great people. But writing is such an solitary thing that you need to actually
Yeah.
extend yourself more than I think people think to get those connections and network.
Yeah, yeah, and um, I can say now that it's all out there. It's also I thought writing was the scary part. Getting it in front of people is terrifying. Um, but don't let that stop you because it has been phenomenal. I have had people reach out to me, so I posted in all the Facebook groups and Reddit, and I've had people go all the way back to find me just to say nice things about my book, and it just makes it all worth it.
Yep.
I am a firm believer that everyone in here who wants to be an author can be an author. And the advice my friend gave me that made me decide to start was he said, Corey, can you write a page? And I was like, sure, yeah, a page is, one page paper is nothing. Can you write a page per day? And I was like, yeah, no problem. And when he said, well, if you can write a page per day for 356 days, you have a book. If
Mm-hmm.
you can find the however long it takes to write one page, and that's funnily almost exactly on Word doc how big my book came out, and it ended up being about a 700-page paperback. So,
Ooh, that's nice and chonky too. Feels
oh,
good when
I
you're
know it's
holding it, I
great.
bet. How
That
was
was
that when you
surreal.
saw him in the flesh for the first time?
the books.
It was crazy to get it in the mail, and I had never seen it on anything but my screen, so I had no clue. I wish I had one with me, but
Yeah, when you're
um,
looking at it.
yeah, it was chunky, and I got the box, and I had just ordered a part for my computer, and I thought it was that. I thought it was this heat sink because it was heavy, and then I opened it. It's my book, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was surreal, and it was the first time where, like, even after the reviews and people reaching out to me, it was the first time it felt real. Um,
Yeah, yeah, and to smell your own book. I mean,
oh
that's
yeah,
like a heady experience because
yeah,
smelling books in general is the best thing in the world.
oh
But
yeah.
to smell your own book, oh man,
It was
that's
amazing.
that's awesome. All right, well, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. If there's any more questions, shoot them down. We got one. Was surprised there weren't inventory lists. Oh yeah, that's a good question, Olin.
Mhm.
Did you specifically decide not to do any sort of stat lists or anything like that?
So again, when I started writing this, I was getting into RPG. I really liked it, and I started to really kind of get like heavy in the stats, and it was distracting me from just writing. So
Mm,
what I thought about in my head, book two is much more stat heavy, inventory heavy, um, but it is still lighter than most. My favorite lit RPGs is there's enough where you can crunch the numbers, but it doesn't take over the story. So I kind of framed it. A very common trope in video games is you have this like intro where you still like old God of War uses. You'd have all your powers, like you were max level,
right. And then
and
they
you were
cut you off.
and then something happens and you um, have to rebuild, right? And book two, again, without any spoilers, book two is more about what do I need now to complete my goal. So it's in my head. That's kind of how I wrote it. Is like book
Uh-huh.
one is setting up a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
um, and is very much he's already at the top. Let's focus on the story and the kind of the lore of the world. And then
Yeah.
book two and three are much more um, progression heavy.
That makes sense too, because you've got to find a way to break it up too. Otherwise,
Mhm.
yeah. And I do think the first book has quite a bit of good action too, which moves it quite along quite well.
Yeah.
So good pacing and all that. So everybody
Thanks.
check it out if you get a
Yeah.
chance. NPC for Hire, and that's by our wonderful author. Thank you for being here, Corey. I really appreciate it so much. And I appreciate all of you people watching. Like I can't tell you. I mean, I really do
Yeah.
appreciate seeing your names pop up, and you're
Yeah.
also like Corey said. I mean, everybody is so kind, and sure, there's bad stuff out there, but I'm always so reassured by how kind and generous everyone is on these. So thank you for watching, and thanks for joining. And until next time, everybody, keep listening. All right, we're gonna sign off. Thanks, y'all.
Round of applause for Luke, everybody. Thank you guys so much for
Thank
showing up.
you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Check it out. Corey Culligan and NPC for Hire, narrated by yours truly. Have a great night,
Absolutely.
everyone. Take care.